Hello my friends, let me share with you how to sharpen a knife.
These are Japanese water stones. I keep them in a Tupperware container in water, and they run from 800, this is the grit, to 1200, and the final one I don't have marked, but it's 6000. So you start with the coarse grit, which is the 800, and we're sharpening a fillet knife. And when you sharpen, you want to lay your blade down, tilt it back up just a slight amount, and make it like you're slicing a piece of the stone off, and do the same thing in the other direction. Now when you use these stones, they will start wearing away, where you'll start wearing grooves in them. And when that starts happening, what you do is you take two of your stones, you put them face to face and rub them together, and they will then smooth, flatten that surface out. So you want to spend most of your sharpening time on the coarse grit, and this will get the blade into the right perspective that it should be in. And then the following two that you follow up with needs less honing, because what you're doing each time you make a stroke on this, you're putting fine grooves into the metal, and as you get to a finer stone, all that you have to do is remove the previous grooves and make those grooves even finer until you get to the final 6000 grit, and that'll get the grooves so small that it will leave a mirror finish on the metal. I don't know if I can get a shot at the edge. We're only working on the cutting edge, and if you can see the grooves on that edge, then we'll go to the next stone, the 1200. To true these stones up, you place them together and rub them together. Some people do this every time when they finish using a stone. Here's the 1200 grit, and I don't know if you can hear the tone that it makes, but it has less of a sound, like it is making smaller grooves in it. You could see the water that's coming off. This is stone and pieces of metal. Let's get a better angle here. Probably with a fillet knife, the hardest area to sharpen is going to be out at the tip, because that blade flexes so much. Let's see if we can see the edge on this. And then let's go to the 6000. Now, if you can listen to this one, there's hardly a sound, but it's still working its way on the metal, the same as the others, but we're just making those grooves finer and finer. These are water stones, so you have to keep them wet. It keeps the pores of the stones open. If you were using a stone and using oil, cutting oil, you can't go back to using it as a water stone. To me, the water stone produces the finest blades, finest edges. And let's see if we can see any difference here. That edge should be nearly polished, and I don't need to be cutting myself, but that feels like it's done. And putting the stones away, you just leave them submerged in the water. If your stones are dry, if you're keeping them dry, you want to let them soak in the water for 15 or so minutes before you take them out and start using them. You want water saturated into that stone. And then, sharp paper. Sharp enough. Good enough for cutting these fish up.
Thanks for watching, my friends. Bye-bye.